I live only to destroy our mutual enemies.
I think the name Aimless suits you better.
Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and today I want to talk to you about the XTransbots Ballistic. It's that and the T version, the MX-61T toy version. So you got two different versions, the toy version and the standard one's in the alt mode. We'll get into talking about this, taking a look at this. Good, the bad, the pluses, minuses, but I did get these at Shows You Store. I have a link down below where you can get yours. Remember, TH and support the reviewer box helps the channel out and helps me to be able to get both of these, showcase both of these so you can see the differences or sort of lack thereof, and you can make a choice on which one you'd like to get the most. But let's take a look at Ballistic so we can look at this Misfire and Aimless. Very G1-esque. Coming up. Right here, the boxes on the left is the standard, on the right is what you get if you get the toy version, or the T version, or the youth version. You get to see the vehicle and the figure, a little bit of artwork on the back. Let's see what the back looks like on this. Same artwork. It's funny that the orientation of the artwork is the same, but the orientation of the tech specs has changed because this is sort of a vertical versus horizontal kind of setup. But that's the box. Now, I'm going to show this because I have kind of thought it was interesting, though. Here's the card that comes with it. It's different. And this is the standard one and how it's packed and pretty much what you get with the standard one. And then this is the toy version, and I like the styrofoam. The cards are slightly different. It's really strange too to match the slight different artwork. Get the light on them just right. They're kind of dark on the cards. And then this is what he gets, and you get an extra can of something. Looks like the target masters are exactly the same. We'll see more of that. Got some lighting, but yeah, there they are. That's the difference in the packaging. Alright, so here they are right out of the box, and little target masters right there. And the first thing that got me was the size, and you'll see why I'm a little surprised by the size. They're bigger than I thought, and that's a good thing, but I'm going to show kind of what they've recently been putting out. And I started looking at the price point, and I'm thinking, why are these so much more expensive than what we've been seeing with some of the other ones they've been putting out? And it's bigger. Yeah, it's bigger than I thought. So this is going to be up there with like the Headmaster's size and scale. And it's correct. It is correct size and scale. And I'm glad they went this big with it. So not smaller like Carbot size. So very, very nice. I'm very pleased with that. But I want to quickly get into what you're going to see right out of the box. Now it's in a bag, which is a little bit different. Like, you usually don't see the Masterpiece figures coming in a full-on bag. They usually just have like a thin piece of plastic overlay. So first thing, you can fold these out, and then you're going to see there is some paint on there, which is nice. These will probably need to get adjusted to be more correct, which I don't think I even did on that one just yet. You want to pull the arms down. So you got a slider to slide down. It's not a lot, but it's enough that you're going to notice the difference. And yeah, so there's a few things, and then you want to adjust you got ratchets in the feet to make it very, very stable to, of course, whatever pose you want. But for now, I'm just kind of showing right out of the package, and that they look great. They look really good. And I will point this out, very little difference in color, if any, in hand. It is really hard to tell a color variation between these two. Really, really hard. There, of course, are the tampograph and all of that, but it feels like the same. Maybe my mind is just making it up because there are some tampograph differences in these. There's some paint app differences, but I am not seeing color variation hardly at all in these. Let's fix these to go back like so. But they look good. There are differences in the head sculpt. So that's one way to tell the difference between a toy. But definitely the tampographs that are on it. I think the toy one looks a little cooler. Looks a little bit better. And yeah, but I like this head. I don't know why. That head is... I like it a little bit more than the toy version of the head. But yeah, they both look great. They both seem to work very well. Stand very well. They feel solid. A lot of heft. Very hefty. So I'm just going to pick one and we'll get into some articulation. All right, taking a look at it. The head is on the ball joint. No, it's a swivel and an up and down. A little bit down, quite a bit up. Kind of everything you would need. You do have the shoulder past the 90 and it's frictioned. You could do 360 on that shoulder. You do have a nice bicep, so you could wield a sword if you wanted to. And then see, it's a butterfly, not a bicep, so butterfly. You do have a nice bicep swivel also. There's the butterfly. Okay, then this, you do a double joint right here. Hands are the 3 fingers on 2 pins. You have the ability for a pointer with this separate finger, and it points straight. So I've been noticing a lot of curved fingers lately. Nope, that's curved too. Never mind, it's curved too. And then you have the thumb, which when you look at the hand, it's weird. It almost looks like they're using the same hand for both, but they're not. There's an extra little nub right here, which the fingers are kind of in the way of that. I don't know what that's for, why they're doing that. But 2 points of articulation plus an up and a down on the thumb, which really, at the end of the day, isn't really a big deal to me. All right, waist swivel, and some of the back pieces sort of get in the way. Ab crunch, and then none of the back pieces will get in the way. And that's fine. You've got old school hip flaps that don't go up that far, which is strange. Now, sometimes they have a drop down on these, but okay, so the back, the leg's only going to go that far back, that far forward, and it is soft ratchet, and that far to the side. We have the thigh swivel up here, and it looks like we get it down here, but that's not. That's a part of the transformation. That is cup style transformation, by the way. That is not a point of articulation, and that works well. So they've learned their lesson from that. And then the knee, double jointed, and if you can get all this stuff back up out of the way, you can kind of do not quite the level of like MP44, because the leg doesn't go up high enough, and there's not a drop down. But interesting that this like little knee shin thing comes out. That's weird how that works. That's cool though. And then we've got some foot movement. It's ratcheted, not a whole lot, but you're going to get what you need out of it, and it's going to stand really solid. Now for the 2 aimless figures, and the more I look at the Misfires looking the same, these look exactly the same. What a way to save some money, right? Make them exactly the same and call them slightly different because of paint. That's how they can put them out at the exact same time, which is fine. That's fine. I don't have a problem with it. I did kind of expect a different shade, deeper shade of kind of reddish. Alright, so probably could move the head around a little bit, but I'm not able to move it. Shoulders got just very limited, sort of on a ball joint. No swivel, so very minimal articulation. Let's see here. Yeah, very, very minimal articulation. Legs can do some stuff, but no swivels. And guess what? Probably not really good to do all of that anyway, but let's see what we can do with transforming this guy. We are going to fold this up, fold his head back so that we can get this going on here. And then we need to fold all this up. This will fold down like so that you can get the rest of this the rest of the way. And then the feet will fold out, fold down. And then the hands just go back like a normal figure of this sort. There we go. That's about how it's going to look. And yeah, it looks fine as a gun. And now the feet have to go straight up. I just thought it would look better with the feet backward, but they have to go straight up. And that is how the artwork shows it. Darn it. I thought it would look a little bit better with the feet going back. But there it is. And let's see about getting it positioned in his hand. He does hold it purely with friction, and it could actually bring that shoulder down. So that's a little sad that it's not held in a little bit better, but it's good enough for poses. Once you get him into a pose and then you put it in the hand, it's going to be held together just by the strength of the joints on the hand. And again, why I'm not big on transforming Masterpiece back and forth a lot, because you will wear out those joints and eventually not be able to do this. So that is the thing. This thing to be concerned about, but no tab or slot or anything to hold it into the hand that I can see. And I really did think that the strange weird thing at the bottom of the hand had something to do with holding it in better, but nope, not this time. All right, let's showcase what XTransbots has been up to lately. They have been giving us so many of these figures that no one else is going to make. So I am very pleased with the fact that they go out of the way to give us some characters that no other company is going to tackle. So I like that. That is awesome. But at the same time, everybody has complained about some of these figures. Somebody somewhere has had complaints about every one of these figures. At the end of the day, they stand on the shelf. They look great. I don't like flipping them back and forth. So they get the job done for me. Look fantastic. I also want to say that the price point on these is a little higher than the $100 for the Carbots, because they are bigger and there is a bit of engineering they put into it. So with all of that said, I like XTransbots and what they're doing and where they're going right now. So I'm good with it, and I'm glad they're giving us these characters. And that looks good as a team. Well, sort of, in a way. They're not all a team. They're not all cohesive. It's just product list of what's coming out lately. Here's how they compare to old Megs, and not a bad size comparison if you ask me. I think they look pretty good in this scale, in this size. I don't think they should be as tall as Megatron, but I don't think they should be Carbot size either, because, you know, everything that came after the 1986 movie seemed to be just a little bit bigger than what we got in the past, for the most part. Not everything. I shouldn't say everything, but the standard scale was scaled up a bit. And we got one of the Devastator components that XTransbots has made in the toy version, and Paragon. I keep wanting to put him in his arm mode, but he would have missed out on so many photo ops, so I guess I just leave him till the time comes. But there's some comparisons. I do have a couple other accessories before I get into transformation here, but we've got this one, and it's just like a lower face, and it looks like a bit of a sneer. I don't know, can I get that on there? Goes with him. And then this one, and they connect a little bit different, has like a evil smile, maybe an evil yelling face, red metallic, as in this one here. Uses the same eyes, so different heads made differently. And then you also come with a can of Energon, some Crimzeek Mega Crimzeek, which will plug into the hand. This only comes with the toy version, so you get more out of the toy version. I'm guessing if you're going to get one, the toy version's probably the one to go with. Which is why I got both, because I wasn't sure about which one I'd like more. And this is such a rarity to get this character. Tab it into the hand. It does appear that it's only made to plug into the right hand. So you can't drink with the left. And you can't have a pinky finger. So anyway, that's the way it is with this. Drinking some Energon, some Mega Energon, and more paint apps on his elbow. Alright, let's get into the transformation of this guy, but before we do that, as you're folding up the hands, you find that there's a way to plug this back piece into here. That was intentional as a way to hold it. So A little loose in the shoulder though. Maybe the other hand will hold it a little bit better. Open up the inside panel, fold this down, and I seem to like to have, since I've already done one, the fist to the back. And that, I had it the other way around, or it wouldn't close. So let's see if this shoulder's stronger. That shoulder is a little stronger, but it does droop, so a little sad on that one. Okay, anyway, moving into the transformation. We can pull the arms forward, the head out, and then the backpack needs to come loose from there. And then we're going to free up some stuff with the backpack. We want to push these wheels through all the way, and then we're going to hold the wheels out as we push the head back into the cavity. Slowly, slowly. This head acts like it doesn't want to fit. Let's go ahead and move all these shoulder pieces out of the way. And I was able to get the T version head in there because the head's different. But for now, we'll just put it like that. Fold this piece in half. And get that in place for now. This is just to elevate it a little bit more. Oh, now it goes down. Now it goes down. That's so strange. Finally worked its way in there. Now it's going to go down too much. Alright, now these arms are on a sliding mechanism, so once we wiggle them out, you're going to see a slider. And you want to slide the arms down. This is a very fragile bit of the transformation, so you'll want to try to hold it by the bar as you're sliding it down. It just feels like a breakage point waiting to happen. Fold this out, and then that little bar right there is a possible breakage point. I haven't really heard of anyone breaking it, but it just feels that way. I don't know how to explain it. Feels like you're gonna do something with it. But then the next thing we need to do is we need to slide these up. They're on sliders, and we need to clear these pieces. So we need these fin pieces to go past that. And you can, to a point, rotate to get a little bit of clearance here. And then those fins go up on both sides. And then one side is really tight. And it was the same way on the other one, on the toy version. We're taking it up. And it's just real tight on that side. And a little bit loose on this side, which is strange. And then we are going to form this piece up top, and we got to get these out, sort of like so. And we have that part ready to go. Now with the arms here, this is going to go all the way up to the top here. These arm pieces are going to go into that. We need to start building the wings up for this. It's a very fiddly transformation, so you want to bring the elbow to there, and you want to recollapse this to get it as ready as you can. And then we're going to have this come around and tab this into here. So that ring is ready. And the leg, so all the components, we want all of this as close to ready as we can for when we get the leg comes around. It's gonna kind of go into all of this. So let's get this piece slid up and form into here, and everything ready to tab in the way it should. And then same thing on the other side. So let's get the other side ready to accept it. I'm gonna be pushing this into here. Now this is all supposed to kind of tab together, but it keeps coming untabbed during the transformation. So I'm not going to hold out that this is going to stay together. There's like a little tab and a little slot, really small right there. I guess it works better if you just fold it over it. Once you get this small piece in place and fold this over it. Like that. But this is going to move around a lot, so it's not like it's a big... It's not like I expect this to stay solidified for long. And that wasn't an issue on the other one. Alright, we need to get the wing situated into here. And like the other side. And then fold this around and push it up. And we should be... There's a tab for that to go into. This tabs into here. And that needs to be tabbed in on both sides. And solidified and ready to go. So this is about what it's going to look like for the upper body so far. And I gotta say, it's about as good as it's going to get for where we're at. Now what we're going to do is the legs, and then the legs are going to fold around, and that's going to be a tricky tabbing situation. So let's get into the legs. I guess we'll come down a bit for that. So we're going to pull this out and fold it around, and then we're going to bring this piece here out, fold this out, and then fold the wheel up for a landing gear. And it's friction based. It's not so much going to click in place, but be held in place by friction. Now we want to get this out of here. It is die cast metal, so we're going to slide it up like so and flip it around. It's got a lot of work it's going to be doing. Then we have another tab that needs to come out. I'm not sure if we can access it from here. Well, I think it's better once we rotate it to access it. So this is going to fold over all of the way. And you're folding on the lowest joint, so you want to keep this joint straight, which I think is kind of what sort of messed me up on the other one. Fold the foot flat. And then that should all be flat there. So this is coming over. There's a tab here, and there's a series of tabs. This is going to tab into here. This is wing's going to tab into here. And then what we want to do is get this over this to start. And then we want to bring out this other fourth clip tab piece. Something fell off. Well, we'll find that out when we do. Was it this leg or the other leg? Oh, something fell off. Doesn't look like anything I recognize, actually. I think it's a filler. I think that's a filler that fell out. Anyhow, there's this tab here. We have got to get all of this to tab in and line up together at the same time. So, and I'm not sure exactly why, but I transformed the other one. It's the engine, the legs are kind of at an angle instead of straight up and down. So I'm wondering if I did something wrong, even on the first one. This is supposed to tab into here. This tabs into here. So there's a tab and a slot. Maybe once I tab that in, it's going to straighten it out a little bit more. I found where this little slot goes. It is a filler that goes into here. Huh. The filler fell out. Didn't fall out in the other one. Anyway, keeping with the transformation. So what's going to happen, and the way I view it all, is all this stuff sort of tabs together at the same time. And everything goes in at the exact same time for the most part. So this tabs into here, these tab into that, and then we plug this other one into, and I guess I got the arm in there wrong for this one. Then this tabs into here. All this is going to happen pretty much at the same exact time, and then you get it all in and it will hold. And I still don't have this straight up and down. So that is that. And we can do the same thing on the other side. All right, one thing I didn't show in the transformation is that there is a slider here. And as I'm watching this, I'm seeing that there is a slider, and I didn't show it. Somewhere in the transformation I did do it, but here it is. Just point that out. You're going to see most of the transformation I don't have that engaged. And this is going to need a little bit of glue. They have glue on it. You can see the glue residue, but I don't think that's going to hold forever. It'll probably fall out next time I transform it. But let's get the other leg done. So we're going to pull this out and slide it around and then fold it up. And then we're going to pull this other piece out here. Pull this out. Open that. Hold this in place with friction. Grab this and get underneath it. It's painted, so if you might scratch it, but it's going to be scratching something you'll never see. All right, so got that pulled out on the slider, slid up, and then keep that straight as you fold all of this around. That feels off. That is a frustration I had with the first one. It feels like I disconnected all of this as I was folding this over, so I just kind of reconnected that stuff. So this, get back to this folding over, go back to here where this goes over, the bottom piece goes over that, and mine are just at an angle. I've got it at an angle, and that's just the way it works on mine. I might be doing something wrong, I don't know, but that's the only way I can get it to work. So anyhow, got to get the piece here out that is going to connect to this. Let's just go ahead and connect to this. And I guess I got the arms incorrect again. So this connects to there. This is going to tab into here. And we're going to go at everything else based on this. Make sure that this tab, that is tabbed in really good. See this side coming out over here? I don't like that. But you think like the more tabs you have tabbed in, the more it's going to hold together. But it seems like the more you go to tab it, the more it pops out. So I noticed that you can kind of get this tabbed in, and then you got to work these into place. Like so. This is the part I like the least of the whole transformation. It's just trying to get all of this to properly tab in. And on one hand, I kind of feel like I got something wrong, because this is definitely a whole lot of popping out as I'm trying to pop it in. And it just feels, in a way, wrong, but this is how it should be. This is how it should be going. See, and then that tab came off, so I'm going to just clean it up. We'll take a look at it. All right, so here they are in their alt mode. One last thing, if you want to, if you care. I mean, you could just fold the wings down, or you can bring them up and get them in a slightly different mode there. But here it is, the alt mode. It looks pretty good. I can't seem to get these. These seem to need to be straight, and mine are at an angle. And when I straighten them, everything pops out. So it is a bit of a pain to keep everything in place. This is the toy version one. I do have a floppy flap on this, which I did not have on the standard one. It's only on the toy version. But the landing gear go in like so. But yeah, kind of a challenging alt mode, I would say. And I'm not just saying it because I have the one. I've got both, and I went through both of these just now, and this goes here. Not the smoothest, easiest thing I've ever seen. Does look cool though. It's a good looking alt mode, and reminds me of why I like the one they made in Titan Returns. I don't have the Titan Returns one anymore. I don't even have a vintage one anymore. So it's my only one I have, the only version of this character, and I'm okay with it. This is the first one I did, transformed. Still the same sort of issues, but the bottom flaps here hold in a little bit better than the other one. I don't know, maybe after you transform it a few times that it starts to, because it feels like these straighten out a little bit. Maybe things just snap into place better the second time around. I don't know. Maybe it needs more wear, but I'm a firm believer the more you transform them, the more you wear them out. But cool looking alt mode. I don't have much to say about it other than the fact you can put this Target Master in there, and you do get to see more of the toy paint apps that you don't get. This one is really, really simple, and I'm not sure how to even get all of this, because they are pretty big though. They're a good size to get all of this on camera with all the paint apps, and then I think there's even more paint apps on the bottom that exposed kind of from the shoulder, the sides of the arm. So the toy one looks the best, I think. If I were to just pick one, I'd pick the toy one. And but man, both of the transformations, the same transformation, are kind of annoying. And I'm used to, I want to get to this, I'm used to when you're done, you just give it a nice firm push in on everything and it just holds. But this, you push in and it starts popping out somewhere else. And so it's just like, you gotta finesse it to get it. You could, with time, like I did with the first one, have everything pretty much tabbed in the way it should be, but then if you mess with it, it starts popping out. So it's possible to get it 100% tabbed in and clean, smooth look, and then just display it. But then the more you mess with it, the more it pops out. Now, I'm not big on messing with it, and I'm definitely not big on alt mode, so it's not a heartbreak, but let's do some comparisons. Here is the toy version next to an Optimus Prime. You get the size. It's a big one. This is not a small figure. And in the alt mode, it's not a small figure. Here's the standard one next to a cup. Look, XTransbots. And, you know, as annoying as going to the alt mode is, I'm still glad XTransbots made this, and I'm also glad XTransbots made the cup, because great figures. I'm going to put this back in bot mode and forget all about the alt mode, but I'm going to know it's there if I ever want to take it on again. Alright, this is my look at Ballistic XTransbots' take on a very G1-esque and toy-esque version of Misfire and Aimless, and I gotta say, overall they look really good. It's a good looking bot. Alt mode looks decent, not fun or enjoyable to get there, and a little bit tricky at points, but with that I do like the way it looks. I'm glad they gave us this character. I don't really see myself ever going back to alt mode with either one of these. Even though I've got two, it makes sense to keep one in alt mode. It is a cool looking alt mode, but I do like that there's plenty of diecast, lots of paint. It looks fantastic. Fix the character. Price is about right for what you're getting out of this thing, and the Target Master is really, really solid looking figure. And yeah, they've done a decent job on that. I'm not sure how they would have pulled the transformation off any different to make it more solid, but I just feel like it should have been a little more solid than that. But aside from that, I thought it was a pretty good figure, and I did get this at Shows Storm. I have a link down below where you can get yours. Get either one of these, the toy version or the standard version, and let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like, subscribe to Hanger out.
He is gone. You miserable pile of junk. I ought to have you stamped down into tinfoil. The rest of you go with him. Make sure he doesn't fail again.
Scary, can't you hit anything, neighbor?
What'd you expect? I knew it, Dave.